let's see what we can do about working on this a minute. Alright, I want to take and measure it. If Mama Cat will let me. You gotta move out of the way. We got 20 inches. We ain't getting very far, are we? Alrighty. Mama Cat, are you gonna let me work on this? Are you? My coffee is getting done. I want to at least make a stitch. You're not gonna let me? You're not gonna let me make not one stitch? What's you? Yeah, she's not gonna let me. Alright, I'm gonna give her coffee. Alright, now that we don't have the cat here, let's see if we can't work on this a minute. I think the girls did a good job. And all. So I know it's not going to really stick with them how to do it, but this right here is a dying art too. So it's a crying shame that homemade stuff is not what anybody wants anymore. Even though I know it's not even, but what can I say? It'll be fine. We'll just keep on trucking and we'll enjoy it. I hope you all try to make one, because it is a dying art. I do like my other one that I made. I made it years ago when I lived on Moorhead Road. And it is holding up pretty good to me. You know, I'd like to see some more of these made. I think I'm gonna like these, but I like these better than I do the crochet. But the crochet ones are a whole lot more faster than these. They really are. But I'm going to see what I could do to continue on. Come on, let's not do this. I still can't see that good. I wonder if this light will help me any. No, not really. Yes, it did. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad. Alright, let's see what we can do about continuing this. I hate it that these strings go around and stick on my needle, but I just have to keep on cutting it off and throwing it away. Come on now, I know I can pick that up. Let's see. I'm gonna have to pretty soon see what I can do about cutting some more of these, because I'll be getting low on them. And I'm gonna want my rag bigger than this. I might be able to wipe 1 foot with it. Think 1 foot would be good enough to wipe? Nah, I think I'm gonna go with 2. make it a whole lot more bigger. See, well, I got like, I know I got about a yard, I think, of the red each. So, and I think I got like 6 yards all together. I don't think I need to go any past those 6 yards. But I may not use all of it. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, we still got 1, 2, nope, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more of these. And I've still got like a whole bunch of these, so we're just gonna keep on keeping on. And hopefully I can pretty soon get it bigger than 18 inches, 20 inches. But I spent a lot of time on the other channel making that quilt. So I said, might as well go ahead and spend some time on this one and make it work, because I have ignored it, and I'm catching up on some of my videos that were on my poor man sewing, where I'm subscribed to things on it. I'm not subscribed to the same things. Some I am, because I like them really well, so I subscribe to them on this side too, so that I'll be able to watch them. But trying to catch up on them. Believe it or not, I haven't done that yet. I've been slowly doing it. And then I've got interested in stupid things like Reddit, and you know, Mr. Reddit, and I've listened to him. I don't know why I'm so interested in it. Just a vacation, I reckon, from the other stuff I listen to. I do listen to a lot of Bigfoot, because I like Bigfoot things and all. And there's some that I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with them, because it's a monkey. No, really, it's not a monkey, I don't think. I ain't never seen one. But, however, I do believe that a Bigfoot does exist, whether you want me to or not. Or you want to. But I do, however, like to listen to it. Alright, let's see what we can do about getting some more of this one done.
I had to leave because they didn't trust me anymore, and the government guys were pulling in with the dogs at the house next door, and we could see them from down the hill. And they had the bloodhounds down there, and they're going like, what are we going to do with this thing? You know, we can't hide it now. And they just happened to have a grave dug for their horses that died of that PBB poisoning. The horses were dying as well as the cows. And the state would allow you to put them in a shallow grave to keep the bugs off them until they came pick them up. And they already had the grave dug. And they're going to put the Mike's body in there. They put lime on top of it. I don't know why. Dissolve it. I don't know what. They chopped his right arm off at the forearm and put it in a bucket in the pole barn before I left, and they started filling in the hole and putting the horses on. When I left down to go distract John Redcorn and the other people, that's what they sent me down there for. And I went down there and I talked to him. I did distract him, and he goes like, well, what are you doing down here? I was just talking to Tom, you know, Tim's dad, and blah, blah, blah. And, well, I got to give you a ride up to your house. I got to talk to you about this anyway. So it got him away from the house. You know, we had to do a lot of interviews and talking like that, and they had the government had no idea that they had the body up there at the time. what happened, the Labor Day weekend went by. They developed the pictures over the weekend. The one boy that was like 12 or 13, I think he was in 7th grade, however old that is, probably 12, he took the pictures to school. They told us not to talk about it after the government left. Says, don't talk about it. They didn't have any, all they said was, we'll do something about it if you talk about it. We just thought they were joking. And that's how I knew, like when I drew the picture of what happened in their house, the neighbor's house, with Tim and his family, I knew exactly where everybody was because I went down there, but where they're positioned in there, they told me, and the next day we're talking about it at the school in the school bus, and we're all like, I was here, I was there, this was happening, and I knew where everybody was when I drew it. And then he brings the pictures to school. He gets caught with them. The biology teacher did something, and I get called down to the principal's office, and I'm in elementary school, and I go down to the elementary school office, and Brad's sitting there, which he's in junior high, and he's like, you say anything, I'm going to kick your ass. I'm not going to say anything, and I never did. But they bring out, they took a picture of me. When they were taking pictures, they took a picture of Bill, Tom, and I, because Brad was taking the pictures with holding the body up. And they saw that picture, and they're going like, well, this is him. And they sent me back to class, and I didn't think there'd be anything more about it. And I went and through the whole day, I get in the school bus, and we go home, and the school bus would go by their houses first. And they get off, and they had 2 cleaning vans, carpet cleaning vans, and I actually got the company right, too, because I remembered the logo and everything. I even called the company up, tried to find records of it, but they weren't cooperating. But the picture that I drew is the vans that showed up and the actual company that. What happened was we went to those 2 houses. There's 2 cleaning vans in each of those houses. And the bus driver's going, oh, you guys are partying a lot over that freaking holiday weekend. Oh, boy. And I thought, well, maybe they did have a party on Sunday. I wasn't down here on Sunday. It wasn't. And the kids got off the bus at the same time. I didn't get to, talk to them about why there's cleaning vans. I get up to my house, there's cleaning vans of the same thing up there, 2 of them. And I'm like, I'm 10 years old. I'm like, something's not right, especially when I get off the school bus. I took about 3 steps towards my house. My house wasn't too far from the road, and the curtains closed. There were shades, actually.
As you approached your house?
I approached my house, and I could see silhouettes of several people in there. And I thought, well, maybe they're just cleaning. Something's going on. And I get up alongside of these vans, and I can see in my kitchen window there was National Guard in there. I could see see them clearly. I just ran. I ran like hell, but they came out of the house and tackled me, brought me back in.
Were your parents home?
Yeah, my parents were being held at gunpoint.
At gunpoint?
They were there. Turns out they were there all day with the neighbors, questioning them when they couldn't get anywhere. And this guy, John Redcorn, or his name is Jerry, he was getting really upset because he couldn't get anything from the other people, and he thought my dad and I were involved in hiding the body. So he went up there, and after he'd spent the whole day trying to droll the other guys, and that was another thing, is my dad was home from work that day. I knew something was wrong. His car was in there, and they somehow got him out of work and home. And same thing with Tom and Bill. Their cars were there, and that's another thing that stuck out. And they dragged me in there, and there's a whole bunch of National Guard in there, and Tom and the other guys, Bill, my neighbor, they just both said, don't say anything. They're just going to question you, and just don't say anything. The guy's going like, oh, he's questioning me. He's going like, I'm not a cop. He's going like, you just can't sit there and be quiet. This is not going to work with me. After he started questioning, he was getting pissed off. And he goes outside, and he comes back from his car with a briefcase, a black briefcase, and he sets it down, and he opens up, and it's got a whole bunch of needles and sodium pentothal in there. And, I just still thinking he's using it as a scare tactic. He has me taped down to a chair with my dad's duct tape, and he's questioning me. He has my parents in another room at gunpoint, and he dragged them off. And there's 3 National Guard behind me, and then there's 3 over on that side of the room. And the one guy, Agent Jerry, I'll tell you about him later. I can tell you his whole career. He tries to go along with the procedure, and I'm starting to freak out when he's actually going to go along with this Sonny Pendelfall thing. And 3 of the National Guard are like, "Oh, wait a minute, what the hell are you doing?" And they're going like, "I'm going to do what I want. You're, under orders." And they're going like, they drew guns on the guy. 3 of them did. And then all of a sudden, they all drew guns on each other. And there was more bad guys than there was good guys. And they took the 3 National Guard out of there. And they're going like, "Fight, fight, fight." The whole way they're getting pulled out of there. They threw them in the van and took them off.
They were telling you to fight?
Yeah. And they took those guys away from there in one of the cleaning vans. So we're down to 1 cleaning van. And just 3 National Guard and Jerry, the Native American agent, a Cherokee. I'll get into that in a minute. But when he shoots me up finally with this stuff and he lets it take effect and just sits me there and I still won't say a thing. And I'm still taped up and he's going like, "I got an idea." He's going like, grab him, and they left me taped up because they knew I'd run. Left my hands and arms taped up with duct tape, grabbed me by my shoulders, took me in the moving van and took me down to the neighbors where they had the 2 other adults down there and the one boy, Brad, down there, and that's all I had. They're questioning them, and there's more National Guard with guns down there. And this time I'm feeling pretty drunk and drugged up, and I get down there, and they're still asking me, "Where's the body? Where's the body?" And like, I still wouldn't say anything, but I looked over at Tom, and Tom goes, "What in the hell did you do to him? Did you drug him up?" And he's like getting pissed off, and they put guns in his face. And when I looked over him, they saw the picnic table was flipped over there, and he's like, "I got dirt over here. I got dirt." Like, they couldn't find it the whole damn time. That really pisses me off. Like, how can you not see that? Like, I had to, and they're going, it's like, "You just ratted us out." The kid is going like, "I'm going to kick your ass" and stuff. And they found the body, pulled it up and they used his freaking tractor to pull that up too. And they found everything. And they took me up to my house. And they had to wait for a car. They were going to take me in to have me hypnotized right then and there. But all they had were cleaning vans, so they had to call and order a car. I told you this is a long story.
No, that's fine.
Well, him and the other Native Americans, there was 2 that they had called from the local tribes, Gun Lake tribe and little band of Ottawa tribe from Manistee, because the area that, the boy got taken at was Native American land, which, is a state land. But if the government would find a Sasquatch or something like that, they would immediately contact the Native Americans that were, that used to be their land. And these 2 tribes had split up. The Potawatomi tribe had split up a long time ago as white man was moving further north. And they just kept on moving up further north. So they had 2 tribes that were involved that had something to do with the body. And they were there. So they started talking to one another at the table.
Okay, so there were 2 tribes involved in getting rid of the body?
2 tribes involved. I don't know why they had them involved.
So we're talking about National Guard, right?
Yep.
Bad guys that aren't National Guard.
Yeah, all the agents were all Native American.
Gotcha. So the bad guys were Native American agents.
Well, I wouldn't call them bad guys.
Well, you did, right? Like you said, good guys, bad guys.
The one guy, Jerry, was way off. I'll get to that, but he got let go for all what he did.
I'm trying to keep everything straight in my head. So we got National Guard and Native tribe.
Right, but when I was back in my house, it was just the Native Americans and me, and waiting for the car. They're talking to each other about the case, and they look over at me and go like, I'm all drugged up, and I'm listening to everything they say, and I'm over in the corner and drooling. They're like, "Well, what about him? What we're talking about, sensitive. Is he going to? Oh, no, he's going to bring hypnotized. He'll never remember any of this." But they kept on talking. I remember I think I remember so much because they immediately took me in and had me hypnotized, and I didn't have time to process any of it in my head. So when those memories came back, they're like brand new.
Almost like they were locked in time.
I felt like I woke up from a coma. Like I woke up, like I went down as a little kid, and I woke up decades later in this stupid old body and like remembered all that. That's how I felt. I mean, there was a time I almost broke down to where like I couldn't even comprehend how I got to from 1977 to to 2014. It was that bad. And but I got that sorted out. And, well, anyway, back to what they were talking about. The first thing he brings out, there wasn't any computers back then. Of course, everything was all just on paper. And he brings the file out. He says that this is the fifth body that they had found, but it was at the time, it was the first complete body that they had, because he said that all the other ones were bits and pieces one was churned up by a tractor with some tills on it, and the other ones were rotted so bad they didn't have the whole spine and everything all connected, right? And that's what he was telling these other Native Americans, and he told them that they're Neanderthal. And what else did he tell them? Oh, he pulls out the case file and it's written wrong. This is kind of important. He said on the case file it was written, I don't know who wrote it. I think it was his assistant, I would guess. It said species number 5. It was supposed to say specimen number 5. And he started correcting. He's going like, I'm going to leave that on here and see if there's a leak. He left that on there. So I don't know if that's why people think there's 5 different species of them, or it was supposed to be specimen number 5. But just stupid little details like that. And let me see, what else did they talk about? I hope I'm not going to forget anything. The rest of the stuff they talked about was, I'll tell you later, but they found out that I didn't have anything to do with taking the body. They started coming back and taking me on, I don't know, squatching adventures and taking me to different,
they took you?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll get to that in a minute. But this whole time they're talking, they're going on and on about, I'm trying to remember some of the, the one thing that they did was he was setting up the Caledonia Sportsman Club. This is kind of interesting too. This is a gun club. There wasn't any kind of a gun club there. It was like a fishing and gun club or something that these guys met somewhere, and he organized them and got some land, and he put it in where it's at right now to drive the Sasquatch out. That's what he said. The reason to put that gun club in there right by where that boy Mike was taken. If you want to find out the exact spot where that happened, go to the Caledonia Gun Club and go walk around there. You'll find everything. So they talked about that, but the weird thing he talked about was a case a year or two earlier, and I don't have a whole lot of details on this other than the area, because he talked about the gun club that he opened up there. It was around Gull Lake, which was about 15 miles south of where I live now, which wasn't really far for a Sasquatch to go. And he just kind of vaguely talked about another child being taken down there and them, developing another gun club down there, Kalamazoo Rod and Gun Club down there, and he organized them. They already had a gun club down there, but he made it bigger and better. That's what they did back then. And it doesn't work. But I'll get to that later. When I found out later, when I had my memory come back and I went back to that area, they're still there even when they're shooting the guns off.
Wow.
So they don't even care. I mean, I'm sure they care when it's hunting season and they know them in the woods, but they seem to be able to figure it out. The people at the gun club are going to shoot there and not,
Yeah.
But they took me in to get me hypnotized shortly after they talked about all that. They took me into Grand Rapids over by the jail and the correctional facility over there, and took me into a hypnotherapist and started the procedure. And at a certain point in time, the hypnotherapist figured out that it was about Sasquatch and it wasn't about a person. And he started flipping out. You're doing this to this kid because this is about some monkey running around in the woods. And this happened quite often in this government agent, where he would just like make a phone call and just threaten the hell out of this guy, and he just finally went along with it. I don't know what kind of power he had. It was some sort of general or something like that. Wow. Would call these people, and because they did that with me when I went down to get my stitches that I told you about. The doctor, they actually gave a card to my dad, because like, if anything happens, have the doctor call this. Because, it was 4, like this, like a claw mark down there. The doctor goes right away. He's going like, this isn't an animal. This is a human. And he like flipping out and we're going, my dad's like, here, call this. And, you know, he called that guy, Jerry, and all of a sudden he was just like, okay. You know, he didn't say anything. And I actually tried to go find those records too, and I couldn't find them. I even actually had a nurse go in the basement down there and look through all the Rolodex files and stuff like that. She couldn't find anything either. But, you know, they had a long time to cover everything up. I found their tracks, though. I get to that later. I mean, they stole microfiche, newspaper articles in the news footage, and I found their empty spots and their little notes they left behind.
Wow.
Took pictures. I mean, it took me years. I went down to the state of Michigan. I went down to like all the local newspapers, looked through all their microfiche and all their leftover newspapers I had for years. I would spend hours and hours a day doing that just to find all the evidence. And anyway, they get me in there and they get me hypnotized. Somehow the neighbor kids find out that I got hypnotized. They took advantage of that because they weren't brought in yet to be hypnotized for, I don't know what the period of time was. Maybe a week or so, maybe 2 weeks. But their dads got arrested for, you know, hiding the body. And
hold on, they got arrested for hiding the body.
Yes,
What's the charges? I mean,
the
hiding
charge
Sasquatch.
The newspaper article for the court hearing for the one guy was called hiding, burying and disposal of a wild animal. That's all it said. Well, you can't go into the woods. It's kind of a legit thing. You can't go to the woods and take a deer without a license.
Sure.
It's the same thing. They think that, you know, Sasquatch are like all the animals in the woods and they belong to the government. And you can't kill one of them without a license. So that's what they charged him with, which wasn't a big charge. But yeah, all the kids were mad that their dads got taken away. They beat the ever-living crap out of me the next day in the bus. I mean, and they knew I was hypnotized. I don't even know what they were even talking about. You know,
they knew you were hypnotized?
They knew I was hypnotized to forget about it, and they still beat the crap out of me every day. They would like lie to all the kids in school. They made my life a living freaking hell. Even the government agent later told them, he was like, you should put him in another school, and my dad wouldn't do it because he didn't care. He blamed me for everything that happened and hated me ever since.
Who?
My dad.
Your dad did?
Yeah.
Your dad hated you?
Oh yeah. I haven't talked since I was 13 after that.
Really?
I get to that, but he blamed me, you know, because they took my mom, you know, and when she came back, she was abusive before. She was just a nightmare when she came back. She wasn't even the same person. And that happens to some of the people that get hypnotized. They just don't deal with it well. They took me back. You know, I had to deal with all those kids harassing me, beating the crap out of me. I didn't have any friends left in school. That went all the way through junior high and high school. The Native Americans found out, you know, they didn't have anything to do with actually taking the body. It wasn't my idea, so they started getting a little bit more friendly with me. And when they found the pictures, you know, they went and found the body, and they found the pictures in the dark room. They found, this is something I've never talked about either because I tried to protect these families, but these families have been nothing but torture me.